to another exciting episode of Video Game Bang. Your weekly source for all things video game. Featuring your fearless hosts, Cory, Vincent.
I'm pretty much Microsoft and Marvel. The cans are on. It's when ish gets real. I didn't get shot during the day?
And Aaron Carter.
Buy the armor, I equip it, and it's like pink thong. The guy that delivers vending machine items in my job. He could play it right.
Fill up your Mountain Dew and grab your Doritos. It's time for Video Game
Bang! What is up, my pizzas? It's Cory Vincent here with the Video Game Bang, brought to you by Oblivion Comics and Coffee, brought to you by Gamersups GG. Get you some. And, of course, the best esports organization, and I'm not just saying that because my boss is here, NRG Esports. Do we have a catchphrase for them yet? Bring the energy. No, wow. It's been done.
That's been done. We'll work on it. We'll talk to the marketing department.
Energy, is it in ya?
No, we'll work on
definitely
it. We'll
not.
work on it.
Well, you heard his voice. He's the golden voice gangster from Center High here in Sacramento, California. The best thing to come out of Center High, I think. Aaron Carter, what's up?
What the hell is Center High?
Did you go to Center High?
No.
Super confused.
That's why I thought he was talking about you the whole time.
Yeah, because you're golden voice gangster, and I graduated from Center.
I just mixed you two together. You guys all look the same.
We look the same.
Well,
People
that's
get that confused a
the
lot,
furthest
actually.
from the truth.
Podcasters
sound
all
the
look
same. We look the same.
Well,
I don't know. Why didn't you just go with the one that I use every weekend, week out, sir?
I don't like it. It needs
You don't like that one?
No.
Powered by NRG?
That's the one. I knew we had
Oh,
something.
yeah, that is. We do have one.
Yeah. I say Video Game Bang, powered by Energy.
I just don't listen to you.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
I don't know
right
what high
there.
school you graduated from.
Grant High, sir.
I've only known you for 10 years, and I don't know
Grant
nothing
High,
about you.
yes.
I think we need to rekindle.
A staple in the community.
Okay, we can talk about that later.
Scotch tape.
He's also on the show. He's the guy from Center.
So the golden voice gangster from Center High, everybody.
That's what they called me.
David Webb, what's up, man?
What's going on, everybody?
How you
Good
been?
to be here. Good.
It's just good to be here
Good.
tonight.
It's good to be here. Long time listener, first time caller. Yeah.
Might be true.
And joining us is our very special guest. We have him for the first half of the show. The man has changed my life. Andy Miller, welcome to the podcast again.
Thank you. Great to be back.
Is it great to be back? Why'd you wait so long to come back?
It is. Well, so much has changed, and now we have something to talk about. I mean, geez. How long has it been? A year?
It's been over a year.
Just over a year.
Yeah.
And look how much we've grown as an esport org and just esports in general and just gaming in general. It's pretty crazy what's happened in the last year, that's for sure.
Fun fact. Did you know that on Video Game Bang, Andy, I booked 100% of the guests up until your appearance? You were the only guest to ever be on the podcast up to that point that I had not booked.
Aha.
And somehow you ended up being the one that was the most, beneficial to everything. The podcast.
When I book a guest, I make it count.
You did. You did very good with your one guest.
He owes you, man.
I guess I do, yeah. I don't know. Actually, I think you owe him, Andy, because I'm a catch. I don't know what you're talking about. I think you found me that day. I don't know if I found you.
You're a 5'2" athlete.
So what has changed? I know what's changed in the last year, but I want to hear it from the big boss. Tell me, where is energy at now compared to where it was 1 year ago?
Well, I think the big question is the space. If you look at it at the high level and then our role in it, NRG is one of the bigger orgs now, which is wonderful. But the esports is really growing up. It's growing up real fast, for good or for bad. It's becoming big business. Not so much in the dollars and cents yet. Hopefully we'll get there, but obviously an audience and attention. And as we talked about, and you guys have talked about in your show and other guests, this 2017 was really the year that I think esports grew up and moved away from kind of the Wild West where everybody in there, you ask their dad for $10,000 and all of a sudden they have a Call of Duty team and they got a logo and there's just confusion and there's players moving all over the place and people some orgs giving the space a bad rap because they're just not, professional business folks who are paying their players and then taking care of their org. And it became a tough thing to invest in, like as an investor, but emotionally as a fan or as a brand. Because players were moving around and teams were going under, and it was crazy and fun. But with the big audience, it started to demand more when it became more than just hardcore gamers. And that's when I think this whole thing really took off. And now you've seen franchising in Overwatch League, of which we're an integral part with the San Francisco Shock, and you've seen it with League of Legends now. And we're starting to see just a different move towards giving some type of structure to all these different leagues and all these different games, and it's allowed people to make really big investments. And so all of a sudden you've got the Patriots and the Mets and the Heat and the Rangers and the Rams and the Cowboys and Comcast and teams and companies in China, and it's pretty incredible, really, if you think about how far it's come. It's like internet speed. If you think about basketball, the ABA, right, back in the day, moving to the NBA, you had just like in esports, you had teams that were run by the players originally, and then you had when it started to professionalize, like the guy who owned the local car dealership in Boston owned the Celtics type of thing. He was the big man, and then eventually it got really professionalized, and a millionaire bought the team. And that was over 60 years. And now you look at it, it's like you have a guy who started an esports team 3 or 4 years ago, and then Madison Square Garden buys it, and Comcast buys it, and we're at that level. It's just accelerated so fast. So that's kind of the meta level.
What do you envision as the next steps then? Like, we're seeing more franchising. League has changed their model up, and then of course Overwatch League. What do you anticipate in 2018 then? We see where it came from, but now that we do have these big fish, how are orgs going to start separating themselves from the herd? Because we have these legacy, TSMs and these Cloud9s that are already hugely popular, but now we do have this big, new influx of organizations like NRG Esports, and we got, Immortals and Echo Fox jumping up out of nowhere. So what are we looking at in 2018 as far as change?
Well, I think the biggest thing we'll look at is, as much as we hate the Immortals and Noah, we find annoying. No, I'm just saying that. Yeah, he is annoying, but we love him. He's very smart. There are partners. Like the Kings, we don't like those Lakers, right? But there are partners in the NBA. The health of the NBA is most important. So the health of Overwatch League will be much more important than the rivalry of the Valiant and the Shock. And hopefully it'll be a great rivalry. So we got to work together to make it work now. I think we've already separated sort of the teams that have resources and fans and funding from the others in different games. And now it's about, all right, let's make it work. We're putting in big investments. I mean, look at the amount of time you put in personally. Mm-hmm. Everybody in the org, it's not like we have 100 people working for us. So you got to make it all count, and we need Overwatch League to succeed. We need people to go to the games, watch them on whatever our distribution partner is going to be. We need sponsors to come in and help defray the costs of the players and all this investment in the infrastructure. And then we need to say, this is working, and let's now move to our local arena, and let's set up our home in Oakland or San Francisco or San Jose or Sacramento, because we have a huge territory, and get to that next step and show people that the local aspect can still work in a global league. And for something like League of Legends, similar, but without the local aspect. And for some other games like CS:GO, it's gonna have to come to there as well, because that's just a big old mess of a million different leagues and games and majors and minors and stickers and not sticker controversy. And it's because that one's hard for an org to really survive in. But I think that's what we're gonna see.
Tell me about Overwatch League and your experience in it so far. I know this is something that we as an org haven't had a chance to talk about, and I don't think we can go too far into the woods, but coming up with the name Shock and getting the San Francisco territory and all that fun stuff, what was that process like for you, and what were some of the highlights?
Well, I would say, just as an overview, the first thing that comes to my mind is relief, because this is a big bet. for everybody. I mean, I know it's been unconfirmed, but reported it was $20 million buy-in for everybody. And then on top of that, you know how much of our resources are going to this thing. So I'm pretty relieved after seeing the response to everything. And I'll go through the specifics of our naming and our awesome roster reveal video with our celeb investors. And then most importantly, the uniforms, and then most importantly, the preseason matches we had down at the facility in Burbank on the NBC lot is killer. I mean, that's the best esports just experience I've ever had. And it's not environment because there's not 20,000 people there. There's 600 people, but that screen is amazing. It's immersive. You really understand. You can understand the game, the graphics, the analytics they put up there. Like, it's a first-class job. That is, if you get the opportunity to go to Burbank, you got to go to one of these matches, whether it's a Shock match or someone else, because that's an awesome experience and fans loved it. And so I feel a lot of relief that this thing's got legs. As far as like going through the process, it's been super fun. We had to come up with a name really fast. We had another name that we really liked called, I'll break it here because we never told anybody, but it was going to be, our first choice was actually San Francisco Rush, as in Gold Rush. And I'll ask your video game expert co-host here, do you know why we ended up not being able to use SF Rush?
Does it have something to do with the Niners?
Not the Niners.
No, I'm going to go with the racing game, California
Rush.
My
God. You're the one.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're the one who remembers the San Francisco Rush. Some like coin-operated stupid Atari game that when Time Warner bought Atari, the trademark for that game went with it, which they haven't done anything with in decades. And we called them. We're like, we like the name, and they're like, oh, okay, I don't know, I'm not sure. It's not, we don't have a big rush here to do anything. So they just wouldn't give it up, even though they're not using it. So we had to pivot. And our second choice was a name that we really loved anyways, that we were really torn between the two, which is SF Shock. And then it was working on our colors and the logo. And the logo was hard also, but things really came together when we kind of went with like the seismograph in the shape of the Bay Bridge. And that really connected everything because it looks great. It connects our territory, the East Bay and San Francisco, and the secondary mark with SF with the Bay Bridge sort of under it looks great as well, and people have gravitated to that. So I think it's got a lot of legs.
Talk to me about the colors.
Colors. So an ode to the Giants and the gold for the Gold Rush. We're going to have to make sure our gold shows up a little bit better. And the gray. I know Cory wasn't a big fan of the orange to begin with, but I don't think anybody on the Video Game Bang team who got the sneak preview liked the orange. Am I correct?
Oh,
that's
yeah,
correct.
Yeah, you're talking about of the jerseys.
Yeah.
The jerseys.
Because I do like the orange. Like, I like the orange as far as like being the team that stands out. Although they did give another team kind of an orange too. But I mean, if you're gonna go orange, I think we did it right by being. We're real orange. They're like a tangerine-ish, like.
Yeah.
Kinda.
I think seeing it on stage when we were watching the preseason, like at first I definitely was leaning towards the gray version, but now seeing it up on stage, like the orange, it looks good.
I'm gonna hold my opinion. I think the gray would have been really slick, and I think hopefully in the future we can do alternates or something like that. But I proudly rock that orange.
Oh
like,
yeah,
it came out way better than I anticipated.
Did Blizzard give those colors out? Is that what happened?
What was that?
Did Blizzard give those colors out? Is that what happened?
The gray?
They just all the colors in general, the whole color palette.
Did they assign you guys?
Yeah, did they assign?
They controlled a lot of it. They did a great job. They wanted to have a real uniform look and feel across all the teams. So obviously the uniforms are kind of a template, but the colors, we could decide, but we didn't have giant choices. Ironic, we have the Giants colors, but and the logos. Everyone kind of did their logo with them so that there was some uniformity. We're kind of the most different logo because we're not a symbol, but our secondary mark with the SF looks killer. I wore my hat the other day downtown, and a couple of people stopped me and were like, "Is that a giant? Is that a cool Giants hat?" I'm like, "No, actually, it's a Shock." And they're like, "Where do I get that?" I was like, "Okay, there we go." We did really well. We got our Cory on our merch, so all the teams, got a chance to sell their merch, and it all goes through Blizzard anyways. But we sold out of hats and a couple other things, and they were great representation for Shock fans. So we've been really pleased.
I was gonna say, like, I've been obviously social media manager for NRG for the year, and then just only a few months, taking care of the Shock stuff, and just the amount of sheer enthusiasm that Shock fans have for not only purchasing the gear, but then taking pictures of it, and then putting it on their kids and taking pictures of that, and then wanting to go out and support the players. Like, we get so many requests for these live events. When are you guys going to come to town? When can we see you guys? And that's probably the number one thing people are wanting to know. And what are I mean, we can't give specifics, but when can people expect players to come out and hang out in San Francisco?
Well, we are working on one. We'll let you know for the second game of the year. So the first game of the year is a Wednesday at 4 o'clock, so it's a little hard to get anybody around. The second game is Friday night. Yes, at 8 o'clock, the 12th. Yes. And there's a chance that we may have a viewing party and a surprise guest there from the team, so we'll keep you all posted on that.
Ooh,
nice.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, but it's all about, like, we were so psyched. We had our Sacramento viewing party. We had our San Francisco, San Jose. We had lots of great support just for our preseason game, and this thing only works if we can pull in the fans. If we can get a home team of people in Sacramento and San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose who want to go to the matches or at least watch them on whatever distribution we have, and follow us on @SFShock and our other Twitter, and get this feeling going that we got a real family here, that we got a cult around the SF Shock. I think it's going to be super fun, and then it's going to work, But I think the league feels that San Francisco can really show the way. We've gotten lots of praise from Blizzard with our social media and the videos we've done, and just our gear and the way we're handling ourselves so far. So hopefully it'll translate to a big following, so that when we move up here, we can pack our arena or theater every night for our 20 home games.
We threw together that Sacramento one pretty last minute. Super major happy thank you to Oblivion Comics and Coffee for opening their doors for a little get together, because we went way past their closing.
Totally.
But we had people show up. Like I linked up with Jay Gist from Capital Fight District and the Sacramento PC Gaming Group, which brought pretty good crowd. But I was like just blown away by how many people showed up who were completely disconnected from all of those scenes, but just saw us on Reddit and our social media. There was a lot of people who had no idea what Sac PC Gaming Group was, Capital Fight District, Videogame BANG. They didn't know anything of our Sacramento scene, but they knew SF Shock Twitter and they knew Reddit. And we had a girl named Michaela show up, didn't know anybody. She was like, "This is my first ever thing. I'm a master's level in Overwatch." We're like, "Holy shit, where have you been this whole time?" So she, made friends with Rachel, who's a Twitch streamer, and she subs to her now. I mean, there's just it really brought our Sacramento community together on 2 days' notice.
Yeah,
so
it's incredible.
I can't wait to just jumpstart more. So all of the Sacramento listeners, be on the lookout. We're hoping to hit coin op. Gilbert from Sac PC Gamer Group is super enthusiastic about getting some bigger viewing parties together.
Yeah,
and we have our own
hashtag. I was gonna say,
Shockramento, baby. So
I heard the chant. Love it.
Yeah. So we're super excited about that stuff. I want to talk to you about some other stuff. Let's kind of kick back over to, you are a co-owner of Sacramento Kings, and they've been kind of beating the drum of esports recently too, talking about a new facility. I guess it's just a 2K team right now. What do you know any details about the facility? Have you gotten to see it yet or anything?
I have not seen the facility. I know the plans are pretty amazing. This is part of the NBA 2K League, where the majority of the teams decided to launch a team, within their market. So it was the choice of the team, and most teams accepted. The Kings gaming came out great. I think the logo is killer. Definitely going for it and putting in the time and money into the facility and marketing it. They have some great YouTubers and folks who are promoting it. So, kudos to the Kings group there who are working on that. They're sort of doing everything right, and it's great to see them supporting it. And obviously they've seen what we've done with NRG and having Nairo at the Kings halftime last year, and the support of the Sacramento community, all the different gaming clubs. So it was kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's actually Pretty good. What about, like, as far as you go, like, how would you envision, like, the ideal esports facility looking, like, for your eyes? Because I know NRG wants to continue to grow, and some sort of, like, campus facility we've seen from, like, other teams. What do you think, could be improved upon in that system?
Yeah, so I've always been this kid growing up when I realized I wasn't going to, like, be a baseball player and play for the Red Sox, and sitting at Fenway Park, the most quirky stadium in the world, that, like, I hated when I went to a stadium that just looked like a generic stadium. Like, I love stadiums and arenas, and helping work on the Golden One Center was just such a dream. And seeing how you can do something differently has been sort of a big driving factor here in Overwatch. And the second we got the franchise, Brett Lautenbach, our president, myself, and now we have Dave Swartz, who came over from the Kings, our chief content officer. We've just been just waiting for that moment when we can start to envision what the experience is for Overwatch in San Francisco, in Northern California, if you will, wherever we end up. And it doesn't have to be like anything we've seen. It's not a basketball game where you go and there's a pregame, you announce the guys and they run out, and then you play around and Slanson does some stuff and there's cheerleaders and we throw the balls in the crowd and we say thanks, go home, which is a wonderful, fun experience. But we can do anything here. Like, we can make this a rave, a party, an educational experience. It could be all about community. If I had my druthers, I'd love to build our own facility someday that was in the round, kind of like they did for the World Cup down in Anaheim for Overwatch League. I thought that was a great experience. Or maybe even a rotating stage, or something that could give everybody a true experience. I'm sure virtual reality will come into it. The screen is so ridiculous down in Burbank at that Overwatch studio down the old Jay Leno Tonight Show Theater they refurbished, that when they switch the map, they show you the maps, and it's so big. It's immersive. Like, you feel almost like you're inside of the map, or whatever, wherever they're going there. And it's like, that's just such a wonderful way to experience something, especially digitally. So, it's an open book. I love everybody's ideas on this thing, and we're going to start planning it soon, and we're going to have events. That's another thing we can kind of talk about here now, is that with our franchise for Northern California, we can hold Overwatch events here. We kind of have like an exclusive license for events, amateur events, collegiate events eventually. And we're going to have them all over. We're going to have them in Oakland and Sacramento and San Francisco and San Jose for sure. And we're just starting to plan them. But, we'd love ideas on how to hold a definitive NorCal Open for all, get your teams together and start playing online. And we'll take the top 50, 80 teams and play it off in a cool weekend somewhere in a warehouse and have all of our players there and do some wacky stuff. And we can do anything. So it's our license. So that's another thing about sort of the future and, being creative, and would love people's ideas and thoughts as to what they think will be fun.
Well, you happen to have a on the show with you right here, not me, but right across from me, Aaron Carter is a huge a-hole when it comes to like live events and his enthusiasm of seeing esports live. So as an open forum to you, Aaron, you're being told that we can shape the perfect, ideal Overwatch viewing experience. What do you see that looking like? What can get Aaron Carter out of his house to go to a live esports event?
We open on a warehouse.
I do like the idea of the gigantic screen, making it more immersive and everything like that. Let's see.
Do you want dancers throwing, swag
controllers
at
in
you?
the stands? That'd be yeah.
Nothing could go wrong there.
Yeah, nothing can go wrong with that one.
Controllers, mice, keyboards. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, because like it's all a new frontier when it comes to esports, and I mean, I have to look outside of just sitting down and watching a sport. Like with other things. Like I'm a huge Sacramento Republic fan, and when I go to their games, it's I'm watching football at the And there's a supporter section over there who never sit down, waving flags, throwing, confetti and all that type of stuff. When the score is gold, they hear the crowd roar. And then there's, like at certain arenas when things happen, the arena reacts to, what just happened in the game. Game-winning shot, maybe, or for soccer at least. Like there's the New England Revolution. Whenever they score a goal, they have guys shoot muskets on the side of...
That'd be the Patriots.
The Patriots do that too? Oh well, see,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
all
that's where
New
it
England.
started, yeah.
It's all New
Yeah.
England. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know.
So I'm hearing at San Francisco shot games, you want musket shot every time. We get a kill. Take a point.
No, you could get like. So what if you did something like, they take a point and you have like lights set up around the arena that look like an electrical surge that just goes through the whole thing.
Yeah, totally.
That's cool.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like the crowd is getting. It's like a wave. You know how the wave goes, but this is
Yeah.
like a shock surge through the crowd. It's like, your San Francisco Shock just scored. Boom, and I don't know.
So
I'd have to.
You're into the lights and the production.
Make me feel like I'm a part of the team.
Okay.
While I'm sitting there supporting my team, and something, immersion is a big thing. I think when it comes to sports. Like I said, I'm a huge soccer fan. They have chants. They do chants even if they're down 3 goals, and they'll sit and they'll sit and they'll root for their team and they'll support. It's like they're the 12th guy on the field right there with them.
Yeah.
So we need to be the 7th guy on the field with them in Overwatch. So, I don't know. It's just that's what I want to see out of it. So it's not really how the stage is set up. It's cool to have the little, the spin, stage for the players and stuff like that. Actually,
yeah.
that's pretty dope. But
or at least a circular one. Like if you had a circular one, that way there was no bad seat. Maybe instead of one screen, you have 2 screens. That way there's no bad seat in the arena.
yeah, well, I don't know. It's I'd have to really look into it. But I mean, if we're already in the right direction where we're taking things in the mainstream sport way where we're giving contracts and stuff like that, and we're mimicking seasons. So let's do with the crowds as well. Let's do it all.
Andy, how have you grown in the last year personally? Like what's the biggest takeaway you've learned from being in esports and around the gaming community so heavily? Because I could say one thing, like you are not a hands-off type of like owner like you hear about. Like you're definitely very much in the weeds of day-to-day stuff, making sure things are up to top notch and that the org is hitting the marks it needs to. So which is impressive. Like you kind of wouldn't expect that from someone who's in an ownership role. So
Thanks.
What have you grown to learn about the gaming community?
Well, I love it because it's competitive and it's a startup. Like, there's no blueprint here, so that's why I'm so into it. And we raised a lot of money, and it's a decent sized business, and people are counting on me. So I'm going to put all my time and effort into it. And I'm a startup guy. I've always been that, even though I started companies and sold it to Apple and worked at Apple. Like, I loved everything about Apple, and it was amazing and petrifying working for Steve Jobs, but it was also a giant company even then, and I loved it when my company Quattro was just the 3 of us trying to figure out what to do. I love sitting on the phone and Skype just going over the same thing 100 times to try and figure out the best angle for it. So that fits my personality very much so. What I definitely learned about esports was one size does not fit all by any stretch, and the titles and the games are all about communities, and the communities are very different, and you can't just whitewash it and say, esports, if you're a football fan, you say it's sports, and it's not. It's football, and football is very different from lacrosse and very different from baseball, and it's a very different fan and history, and there's so much to learn. We're in a lot of games, and it's impossible to keep up with everything, especially, your job is the hardest with all this different social media and making sure you're authentic. Otherwise, you get completely shit on.
Yeah, that was because you mentioned Dave, who came from the Kings. Absolutely so blessed to be working with this dude. He has such a wealth of information, and he's helped change my way of thinking of media in the last couple weeks already. But that's the one thing where I had to help him, because he'd have these ideas of things that, in the regular world would be knockout, fantastic ideas. But you're but in the gaming community, this will get us shredded. Like, this will throw out the window months worth of credibility we've built. And I've seen, and it's funny you mentioned Immortals, because I've vented even on this show about the Immortals social media team just being under my skin. I've seen them make some major mistakes of just using you could use the wrong meme. You could be 2 days late on a meme.
Yeah.
And it's just the difference between.
Yeah, they were like a week or two late on the meme.
At least.
Yeah,
those guys, those knuckleheads.
You're funny. You once said to me, I think I don't remember what our conversation was, but I said, like, what's your biggest fear? And it wasn't even about, like, esports or anything. We were just, I don't know what we were talking about, right? And you're like, oh, just being on the wrong side of a meme. Just waking up on the wrong side of a meme and then just getting crushed. It keeps me up at night, man.
It does. Like, that's how that's why I usually will err on the side of caution, or because if you mess around and put out the wrong meme, you're done. You're done.
That's the worst thing that can happen.
You're Immortals at that point.
That's crazy.
So I think we might be going over, but I just wanted to talk one last big point coming up for the end of the year. Smite World Championship coming up. Our boys are going for the three-peat. I know, again, like I said, you're not a hands-off guy. You actually talk to the players. Talking with iRaffer and the other guys, where's their head at? What do you think?
Well, what do you think? It's iRaffer, so he said we're going to win, and it's easy, and it's over. So the other guys shouldn't even show up, especially the enemy guys. But
that doesn't sound like him.
Yeah, this is a tough year. Like, I love that team. That's the greatest bunch of guys. I mean, full disclosure, we are pretty hands-on with almost all of our teams. That's Raffer's team, and they do that. Granted, they're in Europe, but they do their thing, and they let us know what they need, and they are a blast. As you know, they party hard, they play hard, they love each other. You know, most teams that would go off and win, $1 million or whatever they've won, they would then go take their girlfriends or whatever and go on vacation or do their thing. Like, those guys all went on vacation together, like, to spend more time together every time. And it's a life experience for them, and they just know the game and their strengths in each other so well that, they know where their communication is incredible. And I always wish they were a little closer so they could sit with our Overwatch guys or our Rocket League guys and just teach them how to be so calm, yet they're so hyper at the same time, right? And they don't fail, they don't get flustered, which was interesting. So when you ask, like, what do we think? This season's been rough. The game changed, people caught up, they were the best individual skilled players maybe ever, and at their positions on one team, definitely the best team ever assembled in Smite.
Yeah.
And people caught up. And then it was like, you have to be more strategic, and it can't just be hero ball. And they struggled, and then they asked Brett, they said, look, we got one last chance, because we didn't qualify automatically, right?
Yeah.
And they said, give us a boot camp. Raffer's like, let me figure this out. I owe it to this org. We love this org. We love you guys. We want to be champions and we want to come back. Just give us a week. So we bought them a time and a space in London, and you saw with the gauntlet or whatever it was, they didn't lose anything. They blew everybody out, and now everybody's like, oh, they're back. They're going to win, or they're going to make it to the finals. And they might. I think the competition's really tough. I wouldn't be. Last year, I was surprised if we lost, because it was so dominant. And even then, as you remember, like, there were some miracle comebacks in that thing just to get there. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but if any team I feel can just deal with it, it's them.
There was an amazing article written today, published on the Smite Pro website by Anatoly, one of the casters, and he did an amazing job chronicling from inception to today the NRG team's journey from Panthera to getting picked up by Epsilon to NRG, and the one thing is that they have been known to have little rough patches before, but then they've always come out on top and come strong when they were needed to.
Right. And
I talked to iRaffer today, Emilito and Yemen, for some work stuff, and they're focused. Like, they're focused. Emilito's bringing his hat, so there's going to be none of that.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God he's bringing that hat. And there's actually going to be some other fun announcements heading into HiRez Expo. So if you're a fan of the NRG Smite team, stay tuned to the NRG
that's
Twitter.
right. We got a little surprise there for the fans, don't we?
Yeah, we do. A pretty big one. So please, if you're an NRG fan, NRG Smite team, follow us on Twitter to be the first to figure out what these are. Andy, thanks for hanging out with us again. It was cool.
Yeah, man.
I feel like we talk all the time, but we don't get to talk like this, and this was fun.
Yeah. Did you and your grandfather enjoy the Kings game?
Oh man, Andy hooked up my grandpa, myself, my mom, and my wife with some Kings tickets. My grandpa was at the very first Kings game ever.
Nice.
That's cool.
He hadn't been back, and he hadn't seen the new arena or anything, so he was just blown away by the arena, the sound. Like every time I've been back over there, that's all he talks about is just how he was a little pissed off they took his pocket knife. At security
They found it.
Yeah, he had a little tiny Leatherman pocket knife, and they took it away. And he loved it. I put on social media like, hey, thanks Andy Miller, and then they actually walked down to our seats and gave him a signed photo from his favorite player.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah, he was like a social media darling, that guy.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
Yeah, he kind of blew up, and they brought him a signed picture from Mason, who's for some reason that's my grandpa's favorite player right now. I was like, you could have said anybody. You could have said Vince Carter, and they could have brought you like a signed Vince Carter photo. He was like, no,
Right, that's well, that's Frank Mason, rookie. That's going to worth a lot of money someday. Love Frank Mason.
Hello, yeah, man. So thank you, Andy, for your time. Any last messages out there to anything you want to plug?
I just want to plug the Shock. We need the support. We got to show the league how we do it, that the NorCal can support the franchise and gives us the opportunity to really think creatively and make some big investments here, so we can all grow up with a hometown team for Overwatch. And if it works, I'm sure we can bring all of our NRG teams up here as well and have fans of all the different games and all the different communities have somewhere to go and root for, as opposed to getting on a plane and going to Atlanta if you like Smite. So that's the ultimate dream, and it'll be a great reality, I think, if Shock and Overwatch League is a success.
And a lot of people, of course, are asking if there are any career opportunities. A good way to end. Are there any career opportunities in the foreseeable future for SF Shock and NRG Esports?
Yeah, absolutely, especially for the Shock. Like, we got to hold all these events, something we're not experts at. They're big events. We got to always add to the social, the editing, story writing, you name it, analytics. We got a lot. So we are building quite a crew right now in Sacramento. It just started working out that way as a base. And I'm down here now in Palo Alto, and we got a lot of folks in LA, obviously, with the Overwatch team. So we're slowly working our way up here, but everybody will be up here soon. So we'd take any and all inquiries, and obviously plugging all the SF Shock and other social. That's kind of our scorecard.
Yeah, and we forgot to mention, even if you're just like wanting to tentatively be involved, we just picked up a new employee. His name is also Andrew Miller. And
yeah, that didn't confuse me at all.
Yeah,
I saw Andrew Miller started following you, and I was like, "Wait,
that was weird.
That doesn't look like."
No, we have the worst. We have the weirdest. We have like 3, 4. We have like 5 or 6 Andrews and Andres and more.
Yeah,
right. We got Bretts and Brents, and we've got doubles and everything. Triple. It's really confusing.
But we're actually like drafting together some little small teams of just like people who want to go and hand out wristbands at some of the events and stuff like that. So, all sorts of opportunities, big and small, coming to the Northern California area.
Cory, aren't we showing up at the SacAnime convention with sort of our first Shock team, our street team?
We are. Yeah, we're gonna be. I don't know the extent of our presence, but we are definitely gonna have some Shock people out there handing out some cool stuff and giving raffling off some awesome prizes. And rumor has it some of the voice actors. They have 8 voice actors for Overwatch who are going to be there, and 2 of them are big Shock fans.
Nice.
So
a few of them are from the area, right?
Yeah. One is from San Francisco. The other's from LA, but just like San Francisco Shock.
Nice.
Of course. And the other thing I'd plug will be when we announce our viewing party for that first game on the 12th. I know it will probably be in San Francisco for this first one, but anybody who comes out from SAC will treat real well.
Very nice. All right, Andy, always a pleasure.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Andy.
Later, man.
Later.
All right, talk to you tomorrow, Cory. Bye.
Yep. That is harder than you think, guys. Interviewing your boss. That's tough. One false step and don't show up to work tomorrow, Cory.
So I'm hearing lots of repeats and names. How many Davids do you guys have?
Davids. How many Davids?
Just one, right?
I think so.
All right. Well, there's an opening right there.
There you go.
How many Aarons?
Too many. Yeah,
All right, well,
we don't need any Aarons.
Sorry, Aaron.
We're fine. I've had my fill of Aarons for
What
one
was
lifetime.
he talking about? Story writers. What is that about?
My guess.
You guys creating storylines for your players?
Yeah,
Like
so basically,
heels and baby faces?
Basically, Overwatch League is WWE, and it's all scripted.
Yeah,
If,
okay.
Spoiler alert! If you wanted to know everything in Overwatch, no.
That was close.
No, after the Kings game, someone will write a detailed report of exactly what happened. Or heading into this match,
Okay.
it's important, because we played 3 times
I see.
here. And
Okay, I didn't put it in the right context. Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, I get it as soccer. They actually say that in the beginning of like FIFA matches and stuff like that.
yeah, you always want to build a narrative. These guys beat us last time, but
Yeah, it makes the game more important, like interesting. Like you're invested in this one. Like, oh, okay, I see the history behind these two. Like,
yeah,
I got you.
I get you. What do you guys think?
Be better if it was heels and baby faces.
I mean, we
Alright.
could still do that. We have a Baby Bay on our team.
He needs to be a heel.
He is, dude. I love Baby Bay because he's like he embodies like the Smite team mentality.
Okay.
Hyper confident, really good with a microphone, and like he's just popping out. Like he'll pop off and then emote. Like I love those people who will just like style on people, like, and not care and have just a lot of confidence. Kind of like you, I guess.
About you?
Huh?
Yeah, it's talking about me.
No, I'm talking about you,
Nice.
Mr. Overconfident.
You're supposed to have confidence. Why wouldn't you?
I'd like to take any questions from chat as we're going on, but until then, I guess we might have some news stories. Yeah, go ahead, Webb.
Do you have some news stories, really?
I got a couple. So one big thing that happened today was Cuphead. So one of the year's most recognized games. It won quite a bit of awards at the Game Awards. Right?
It made it high on our list too.
Yeah, it made it pretty high on our list. Was the victim of fraud today. Fraud, as they say in Germany. A fraudulent copy of the game made it to the iOS store. Now, how it made it through the approval process is beyond me, but it was a Cuphead complete lift of the game into the iOS.
Really?
Sold for $4.99. From what I understand, it was only up there for about half the day today before it was recognized and taken down.
That's whack.
The website I got the story from, Polygon, they downloaded it on a couple different devices just to test it out to see what the controls were like, and the controls were not very good at all. Those are virtual joystick and buttons, but they were often obscured by like the artwork.
The game's
and
already
the scenes.
so fucking impossible by itself. If anyone could fathom trying to beat it with a digital,
Oh yeah,
what is it?
You went
D-pad or whatever.
Digital, yeah,
you're fucked.
No, yeah, there's no way you could sit here and play it like this.
So then, what if they just used a Bluetooth controller? Then
That's the only way that it would have had. It would have been useful. One player actually received an email from the developer.
So I'm gonna get you when I find you.
He said, "This is 100% a scam. Cuphead is not available on iOS." Shortly after the game was taken down.
Did he not reply saying, "Then what the hell am I playing right
What
now?"
the hell am I playing?
Sure feels like it
Sure
is.
feels like the Cuphead.
Well, when it worked, there were lots of errors, lots of crashes, and the front, like the main title image, was glitchy. You could see Aaron could see
Yeah.
the
I see the
image right here. It's like 8-bit pieces are missing. It's just really bad. It's like a rush job that they tried to figure out how to get on. And
It's somebody probably
That's
knew
weird.
knew it hacking or something like that. Decided, you know what, I can do this real fast, make a small name for myself in the hacking community, and
now they're the guy that hacked Cuphead.
yeah. Now he's Cuphead guy. Whoa. What's next, Cuphead guy? So we're putting Mario on the Android. It's already on there, dude.
It's already there.
So you failed.
And iOS. I won't get too far into
let's
this,
not.
but we'll just
no.
talk about it.
Is it more? It's okay. Who touched somebody now?
Bungie. Bungie.
They're the pedos now?
Yeah, they touched your wallets.
Oh.
They didn't touch my wallet.
More Destiny 2 bugs have been discovered.
Really now?
And the community is up in arms.
Why?
Again.
This is such a great game.
I honestly didn't read too far into this one just because I can kind of just guess what the issue is. But basically, it survives around this one item called the 3 of Coins. Destiny 1 players will recognize this as being a item that you consume that is supposed to increase your chances of getting an exotic drop.
But it doesn't, does it?
No.
Oh wow, I've never even read this article. Go on.
After playing, one player says after playing for nearly 16 hours and receiving just 2 exotics, both of which dropped without the 3 of Coins buff active, they concluded that something was wrong with 3 of Coins. Yeah, so it's just another. I don't know.
There's a game out there I've been playing as of late.
It's Warframe. I know. We get it, Aaron. Superior game. We understand.
But it's been around for years.
It's been around for years.
Understand. It's had time to evolve. It's had time to mature. You know, it's like a fine wine. And if you are upset with Destiny, everybody, just go and give Warframe a try.
Warframe is fun.
100% free.
It's way different. So we played it a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Fell off. I played it with you guys not that long ago.
Yeah.
It's
a brand new game now.
It's a brand new game. I'm having to learn how to do all my stuff again because I have no idea.
Besides that, like I've been playing this game and actually going through their new their quests and story modes and stuff like that, and they've got like these actual like full blown storylines. I just played through one that felt like a single player because you had to do mainly all the missions by yourself, and it was just like, who's developing this?
I feel like when we played it before, it was kind of disjointed. We had no idea really what the story was, what the plot was. We were just playing through and playing cool levels, and it sounded like fun.
Now they've it's like they've grown up. It's like they definitely have grown up. So if you're having troubles with Destiny, I say give Warframe a try.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think that Bungie can do to come back from this?
Destiny 3, baby. Here we go. I'm waiting for Destiny 3, and then everything's going to be fixed. They're going to learn from the mistakes from Destiny 2.
I think they should take a cue from Matt Hardy and just delete.
Wow, you're acknowledging the Woken universe.
No, not acknowledging the Woken universe. Just copying a word.
I was going to say, it can't be. It can't just be Broken Destiny because that's what they already are.
You know what? Shots fired.
Wow.
Shots fired.
Deleted.
Yeah, all right, I shouldn't have opened that door.
Yeah. You see what you do?
Yeah.
You see what you do?
One important thing I don't think we touched on. Maybe this is the next news story. At least it better be. Overwatch is only $20 right now.
Get it?
Yes.
God damn, that's cheap.
I'm considering buying an alt account.
So my
$20.
my niece plays on the PC.
Yeah.
Overwatch?
Yeah.
So she's more of a hardcore gamer than you are. Okay.
She might be.
Sounds like it.
If you listen to this story real quick, I
was
cooking dinner, and all of a sudden I hear in the back, "Mercy's down."
So she got call outs too?
These are call outs.
She's like just from nowhere, and I'm hearing it like really faint in the background. You know, just only I'm like, get the McCree. All right, I'm coming in. All right. Pop my shield. There we go. And I'm like, what?
Oh my God, she's good.
And so I look over, and my niece is over there, full blown headset into the game, tanking for everybody.
Who's she playing?
She's Diva.
That's why this game is going to succeed.
She divas.
That's because that's
the future.
It appeals to a broad mass of gamers, and it's bringing people in to like. That's really good. Like she's not. How old is she?
She's 16. So she plays PC. I occasionally play PS4, and my brother is Xbox One.
So you're
all of those plays different.
Your brother's playing though too?
My brother plays too. Yeah, he owns the game on the Xbox One. But yeah, she's hardcore into it. She was asking about when the next showing is for the Shock.
Really?
She
would go.
Yeah, because my sister thought it was like a thing at Golden One or something like that. Like it was going to be just steady there. She's like, "How much are tickets and stuff like that?" And I was like, "No, let me explain to you what all this is." But yeah, she's hardcore into it. She's the one that I went home basically and gave all the backpack things to because she's so into whatchamacallit.
I loved our get together in Sacramento because it brought so many people together, and it was a diverse group. It wasn't all just like, one type of person. It wasn't all just like Call of Duty white guys. Like, there was people I know. I've seen at FGC events where they're having a good time. People who like Michaela, who I don't know what other game she's played, but she just came out of nowhere and she's Overwatch, and they were all informed. Like, they were all calling things before they would happen.
They knew the players.
They were doing ult times.
Yeah.
Like they were really like we had such an educated group of people.
It was good. It was a good group. It was fun, and it makes it more fun when you're with a group of people that knows what they're talking about.
Yeah,
because you have these conversations that you wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, no, so I could talk to Webb or Aaron to some degree about Overwatch,
I know bullets fly,
Overwatch meta or something like that. But in that group, like, we were geeking out over. One guy came. He was a Valiant fan.
Really?
He was the only Valiant fan there.
You guys throw eggs at him?
We should have, but here's the deal. This is why I was okay with him. I asked him, like, why could you possibly be a Valiant fan, and then why the hell would you show up to this event being a Valiant fan?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, they have my favorite player. So I was like, well, still, like, what the fuck? Who's your favorite player? He's like, Numlocked. I was like, okay, that's acceptable.
I mean, that's
the
how
only
some people
acceptable answer.
That's how some people are with regular sports. I know people that are like, oh, I'm just a Kobe fan. I'm not a Laker fan. When he was on the Lakers, so I'm just a Shaq fan or something.
He was a big fan of the NRG squad when we were the meme team. When we had Seagull, Harblue, IDDQD, Numlock Dummy, and oh man, I can't believe I'm forgetting who. Who was the last one? Don't tell me I'm forgetting the last one. Yeah, Chansey.
There you go.
No, but he was a huge fan of that team we had. Ajax. Sorry, it was Ajax.
That was close enough.
Yeah, you were close. It's Chansey, Ajax, same thing.
Yeah.
But and he was like, but Numlocked was my favorite. And so when they all went their separate ways, I've always been following him. And if you guys know anything about, I've been doing the esports thing. I get to know these guys personally. Numlocked is, without a shadow of a doubt, one of my favorite people I've gotten to work with in esports in general. Like, I just love that guy. We spent hours just on Skype bullshitting. We would join lobbies together and just play Overwatch. He'd play Overwatch with me. And he's the tank player. He taught me a lot of what I know as Reinhardt, even though I'm not nearly as good. But that guy won me over. That Valiant fan. I was like, dude, you're okay in my book. Come back to any events, and I'll buy you a beer. So all that to say, I love Numlocked.
All right.
It was
very awkward there, but
no, but see, it's just great. I love the diversity in this game. I love that when you go to any event, you see more people wearing Overwatch shirts than you see. Even though I guess you could make the argument League of Legends is the bigger esport right now. Mm-hmm. When you go out into the world, you just don't see League of Legends shirts.
Here's the thing, though, and this is why I think
Overwatch
will eventually just overtake League of Legends. I understand it's got a big head start right now, but have you ever watched a highlight for League of Legends?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's a jumbled piece of mess.
It's chaos.
Like, I showed you that video, right? The Jesus and Mero, where they were talking about the esports thing, and they showed a quick clip from a highlight of it, and I was like, what the hell's going on? Like, I don't even know what's just happening. The announcers were excited. That's fine.
Yeah.
The crowd seemed to roar and everything. That's cool. What's going on screen? I don't know what just happened. That was not easily defined to my eye, as opposed to Roadhog hooking somebody and then shooting him in the face. Or Roadhog hooking and then quick turn dropping him off the level.
True, but the other part to it, too, is that what really endears people is characters in games. And
that's
when you look at a League of Legends, you see them and they're this big on your screen.
Exactly.
They're little tiny ants, and if you zoom in, you could read their character bio and all that, but even then, they have like a billion characters. They all kind of look the same. When you go to Overwatch, it's very Pixar. It's very friendly. Every character, there's the giant gorilla guy, and he has the laser gun, and you could kind of get his vibe just by looking at him. You got the big scary dual shotguns guy, or if you like bow and arrow people, you got that. Like, you can just get behind people without knowing anything.
And it's the moves, their skills are pretty basic to understand. There's nothing super complicated, unlike League of Legends, where they do all kinds of different things, and you have to buy stuff, you have to get armor, you have to get buffs, you have to get all this stuff.
I wonder how many League of Legends like fans of watching the esports don't play League of Legends at all. They're like, oh, I just enjoy watching.
They just like watching it.
Like I feel like they all like a good 99% of them are just players, and I understand that's fine, but I feel like Overwatch would be that one. They throw out one CG movie,
yeah,
and you've got just fans just watching just to see how it goes down in the game and stuff like that. Like, oh, I just watched a little Pixar, Overwatch movie, and it was very entertaining, and I'm seeing what the game, the esport is all about right now. Never played the game before in my life.
Yeah,
I can see that happening over. My so and so, my significant other plays League of Legends, and I'm checking it out. I don't know what's going on the screen. So,
I don't know. I think Smite kind of faces that same battle.
I think it's MOBAs.
Yeah, MOBAs in general.
It might be MOBAs. Yeah.
I'm 100% convinced that our Smite team, if you would translate their accolades and their skill level to League of Legends, these guys would be millionaires. Every single one of them.
Just because of the trophies,
because of
wins,
the difference in like the amount of events and the scale of the events. Like League of Legends World Champion takes place in Staples Center. HiRez World Championship, it's in a pretty big venue,
right?
And it's it's like a fair, it's an event, it's an expo, so it's got like paladins, console, like everything is there. They have a showroom where you can play and learn.
Smite dedicated, you say?
It's not just like
HiRez,
you show up,
right?
sit in your seat, and you watch it. It's like a whole. It's like a con, basically.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's like HiRez Con. So, and it's in a pretty good sized venue, but it's not fucking Staples Center.
Yeah,
like, that's a big ass venue.
Yep.
Please silence all cell phones.
That is silence, actually. It's just no matter what.
It's an alarm.
Yeah.
8 o'clock.
It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for interrupting my thought there.
You can thank Victoria.
Thank you, Victoria. I hope.
Does she have a secret?
Have a secret. Damn it!
Boom.
Damn it!
Horrible. Gentleman.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
We got time for another story?
Let's go.
All right.
Is it the cross-platform?
Yep. So no, it's not.
Oh, then it's all whack then.
So you guys remember the story we talked about a couple weeks ago about that kid who said that he was addicting to gambling because of games.
Yeah.
Stupid.
So I don't know if that was a catalyst or if this was already in effect, but there have been reports of various countries that are coming out and determining whether or not loot boxes or loot crates count as gambling.
I thought we determined this already.
I think they do.
Well,
No.
UK, they do not.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
The US, they do not. New Zealand, they do not. Belgium, they do.
Of
And
course,
in fact,
the waffles do.
Belgium is pushing to have loot boxes banned in Europe. The UK said that because the prizes that are unlocked in loot boxes are usually only used in games in which they are played and cannot be cashed out, they don't fit the bill for a licensable gambling activity.
There you go.
Okay, but I was saying in my personal opinion, I think it's gambling.
I think it is a form of gambling, but not in which it's illegal.
I don't think it's a form
You're
of
spending
gambling.
money on the chance that you'll get the thing that you want.
No.
Right.
You're not spending money if you just play and get the coins.
Well, no, you can't. Well, okay, you can.
Yeah, you can just earn, and then, right?
Right.
So, yeah,
you just unlock everything. So you don't even have to. It's not like it's a.
It's not required.
So you're saying if it's optional, it's not counted as gambling.
So like if you went into a casino and they said you can win this money if you just play enough poker, not bet anything, just play the game.
You sweep the floor.
Yeah, like,
Or-
we'll give you a 5 chip.
You can bet at the game and then win, more money quick.
Okay.
Like that's
okay.
the difference.
So then, loot boxes themselves are not gambling, but the act of buying
the
a
act
loot
of
box,
spending money.
that is gambling. But loot boxes themselves
No.
are not a form of gambling.
No.
Canon.
All right. You heard it here first, everybody.
So get it right, Belgium.
Well, you hear the music. That means the show is winding down and coming to a close. But if you're watching here on Twitch, we will stay a little bit later, hang out, do a little Q&A session. I want to thank Andy Miller, my boss, for being on my podcast. He dropped some bombs. He dropped some nuggets. Expect to see some of this on Reddit tomorrow. The whole revealing that we were almost the SF Rush, pretty big.
That was big, yeah.
I've had that one under my old cap for a while. I didn't think he was going to talk about that. I was pretty like, Andy, are we really going there? But you heard it here first. We were almost the San Francisco Rush had its own logo. It was pretty nutty, and then it ended up switching within the last couple weeks to Shock, which, as he said, it was our definite second choice. It's not like, oh damn, we're screwed. Here's Shock. We were like, we pulled a lot of people
one of the two
going back and forth. We Rush had the edge, didn't make it, and then we pivoted to Shock. Anybody who wants to apply, follow us on social media at SF Shock and at NRG GG, because we're going to be doing a lot of announcements over the next couple weeks, especially when it comes to Overwatch League. I know it's a little slow right now in the Christmas time, but by the time Season 1 rolls around, there's going to be a lot of needs. We're going to need people writing, graphic designers. We're going to need a whole host of things. We're going to need just a street team. If you want to go out to events, rock energy, get a free jersey, pass out wristbands, meet players. It'll be really fun. There's going to be a lot of interaction with the community. I know for sure through many conversations with Andy and Brett that's going to be a huge pillar of what sets SF Shock apart from other teams, is exactly how much we are going to be involved in our community. A lot of these other esports teams, got handed their area and have to learn to love it type of deal. We specifically chose this area because it's an area that we all personally love and have a deep interest in. So Sacramento obviously for me is huge. I want to make sure that the Sacramento fan base is well taken care of, and we're gonna make an impact in the communities, even for charities and stuff. So we did put out a poll seeing what the San Francisco fans were interested in, and we're gonna be putting some stuff into motion that we're giving back as well. So I'm so happy and excited to be a part of this Overwatch League journey. Thank you to Andy for jumping in here. We have a whole great host of people who work for us building this thing. We have Brent Backspace, who is incredible at marketing, and he's a freaking genius. We have, like we mentioned, Dave Swartz. We have great team managers, Andrew Baker, Jamie. Just shouting out people who I work with. Julian.
You want to get the wrap up button going here, sir.
Sorry, I just love what I do. All right. Sorry.
It's gonna be weird on the podcast when they were like, "What is this about music is playing?"
That's true. Anything else we forgot to mention? What are we doing? What's going on? We got Christmas plans? Anything?
No, I think we're
knocked all that out.
Knocked all that out.
Yeah.
All right,
we got a couple more shows left in the year, and
drink your gamer subs.
Yeah.
gamer subs.
I can say it makes a great stocking stuffer. Get that $5 pack. Use the code word VGB.
Get your
10%
discount,
off.
Yeah.
Get that 10% off. HiRez Expo. Good luck to the Smite guys. Nothing else. I've talked too long. So for the real David Webb, Aaron Carter, my name is What's Up Pizzas, and you've just been banged.